Having traveled through a sea of darkness in search of that pale blue dot that we call home, illuminated only by our own distant star and those stars around our solar system that remind us just how far we have traveled. At long last, we are home. Fuel van is failing! Hey guys, this is Tex and welcome back to this Orbiter 2016 video series in which we have flown from the Earth to Mars. In the previous part, we launched into a Mars parking orbit and we're here basically ready to plan and conduct our injection burn so that we can leave Mars behind us and finally head back home. If I jump into the cockpit, and you can see in real time we actually have 5,464 meters per second. I won't be confusing that with kilometers per second anymore. Sorry for any confusion about that. If I say 5.464, so that's 5 and almost 5.5 kilometers per second. But if I say 5,464, it is actually meters per second, because 5,464 meters per second would be really, really fast.
Is why you fail.
Once again, sorry for any confusion. It's just a bad habit of mine, but I will try to stick to meters per second. Okay, so with all of that said, let me open up the spreadsheet right here. So you can see that we have basically gotten into our parking orbit, and once again, what we have in our flight log matches with what we have in real time on the burn time MFD. Okay, so we're estimating 3,400 meters per second for the injection burn, and that's pretty much what we're seeing here, 3,403. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go to orbit eject over here, and I believe this needs to go to course and press projection. Then we're going to open up interplanetary on this side, and we're going to go to menu. It is unshared. We'll go to course and delta velocity set. Now we want to set the reference to Mars, and we want to set our time of ejection to this, so it's 5440, and there we go. Okay, and then we want to set our delta velocity to this 2,496 to 496. Okay, we can press projection there as well. Now that that is set up, we can come over here to the left side. Let's press menu. Let's open up our map program. We'll press projection, and let's see, I think reference, we need to reference the sun. I believe target would be Earth. Okay. And then I think, is that all I have to do here? Reference sun, target Earth. I believe that's everything. Okay, so then we can go to turn off AZO. Let's see, hit display, press select until we get to, no, something's not right here. Projection. Let's go to page, sphere of influence, turn the plan on, and I think maybe the plan had to be on. Let's go to page again and press select. There we go, there's Earth week, what I was looking for. Okay, fantastic. We can also go ahead and set up configuration for Edwards Air Force Base, although I'm not going to worry about it too much this far away, but go ahead and put in Edwards there, and we'll go back to map program. Okay, if I press mode, you can see our angle off from Edwards, and of course we're going to be looking at our periapsis as the closest pass by the Earth. Right now we're missing the Earth by 1.9 billion meters. Hope I'm getting that part right. It's in the neighborhood, but it's really kind of not in the neighborhood. It's quite a ways off. So what we're going to do is we're going to play around with our date and our prograde variables in order to try and get that down really underneath the surface if we can. We still have quite a quite a while until our injection burn, just over 5,000 seconds away. So let's go to the date, and that tends to be pretty sensitive. So I'm gonna just hit minus and see what that does, and that does appear to be dropping our periapsis. So we'll bring this down maybe that far. And now we're under 1 billion meters. Let's go to prograde, and let's try 10x on that one, and let's add some. So adding some is bringing that down. So we're just going to do several clicks at a time with this. Go back to 1x for the date. Okay, and then let's go back to prograde. Go to 10x for that one. We'll try adding. Okay, so we passed the closest point there. So let's go back to the date. Go to 1x, and let's try minus on the date. A few clicks. Let's go past it. See, it's increasing now. Now let's go back to our prograde velocity. We'll leave it on 1x for a minute. Let's try plus. Okay, so let's go minus. Let's go to 10x. And that is working. Let's go back to the date. Let's go to 1x. And let's try, I think I did minus. Let's try minus 1 click. Let's go to prograde velocity. We'll go to 10x and try plus 1 click. Okay, let's try minus 1 click. Alright, so let's go back to the date. Let's go up. So I click plus 2 times and go back to prograde velocity. And this time let's go minus. Nope, let's go plus. Okay, so I need to go back to the date. And let's go minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's go to prograde velocity. Let's leave it on 1x and let's try minus. Okay, let's go to 10x. Let's go a little bit more minus. Okay, that's working. Let's go back to the date. Nope, sorry, I didn't want to click that. I got a little distracted there. I was getting a text message. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's go date, 1x. Let's try minus. So somewhere in there was going to be the closest. So let's go a little bit past it. And then we'll go to prograde velocity. 10x. Now we're getting, okay, pretty close. Let's go to 1x on that. Minus. Alright, now we're really in the neighborhood here. Okay, so now we're under the surface. So that's good. I'm going to actually just leave that right there for right now because it's going to be, you can see it's actually changing pretty quickly right now. I'm going to time accelerate until we get just a few hundred seconds out from the burn, and then we'll do just a little bit of fine tuning with the variables before we actually conduct the burn. Alright, so let me just time accelerate, and we'll watch this time to the injection burn. Oh, we'll probably stop at around 300 seconds or so. Okay, so we're approaching, there's 300 seconds. We're under 300 seconds. Alright, so let's go to our date. We're on 1x. Now you can see that our periapsis is about 1.2 billion meters. Let's go minus on the date. Okay, and then let's go to our prograde velocity, and I think we go plus on that. Let's go to 10x. Okay, let's go back to our date, 1x, go minus, 2 clicks, prograde velocity, 10x, 1 click plus, 2, 3. Okay, so let's go to our date, let's go to 1x, let's go minus and overshoot it just a bit, and then come back with prograde velocity and see if that works. Okay, that didn't work. Let's go the other direction with it. Okay, so we need to go to the date this time. And let's go plus, 3 clicks on the date plus. And then on velocity, I bet we'll have to go minus. is plus. So it'll come up. That's not working. It should be, I believe, probably minus on the date though. So we're going to go minus a bit more. We'll go to velocity. Let's keep that on 1x for now. Let's go back to the date. Maybe a couple clicks on minus. And back to the velocity. Maybe 10x. Let's go to the date. 1x, 1 minus, and back to velocity. Let's go 10x. Okay, we are getting closer now. 1 click on the date to our velocity. 1, 2, the date, 1x, 1 click minus. Let's do 2 clicks minus. Now we'll go back to velocity, and let's see if we can get that under the surface again. Okay, I think we passed it somewhere right in there. So let's go to the date, go to 1x, 1 click minus, and go back to velocity. Wrong direction. And there we go, we're under the surface. Okay, so somewhere, I don't anticipate we'll be able to do a single burn like we did coming to Mars. In my experience, I haven't been able to do that, but let's see if we can get this just a little bit closer. It's almost time to burn, so we're not going to be able to really mess with this too much here. Just get this down a little bit better. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, so that's under the surface. So let's press page, look at our burn vector, let's hit auto burn. So we are just under 1 minute out from the burn, so that's pretty good timing. So we're gonna let Interplanetary take care of the burn for us as usual. Take a quick hop outside. One last look here before we put our velocity in to leave Mars behind. Okay, we do need to be in the cockpit for this. So we are about 30 seconds out from the burn. I'm going to time accelerate to 10x, and Interplanetary will take care of everything for us even at 10x. So we are burning. See our burn time left, about 30 seconds, 20, 10, and we're back at normal time speed as she finishes the burn here. Okay, so Interplanetary has finished the burn. Let's turn off the plan and see what's happening in real time. Actually, it did pretty good. Our periapsis is under the surface. So, wow, that's got to be a first for me. I don't think I really need to clean up the burn at all. At this point in time, we are literally hitting the Earth. I don't anticipate that will stay like that, but it does mean that we don't have to do any cleanup on the burn. So let's go. I guess we don't really need this anymore. I can pull up orbit over here. Projection distance, we're set to Mars. Yeah, so let me go ahead and just rotate around. We'll have a nice view of Mars as we drift away. I'll go into this cockpit view, and sorry about that, I always tend to do that. Let's go to the upper panel. We can turn off beacon and strobe. We're not going to need that. We'll set the vessel up for an extended stay here. We'll leave rotation on in a minute. We're going to kill rotation. Okay, so everything on the bottom panel looks fine. Let's go ahead and transfer some of this fuel over to our main tank, just because. Time accelerate. Something like that's probably fine. Okay, let's go back to this panel. We can probably turn off the HUD. We're not going to need that. So the radiator is deployed, so that's all good. Once again, one more check on the upper panel. Everything looks fine up there. Alright, let me time accelerate. And we're going to kill rotation. And we'll turn off our rotation RCS so we don't accidentally bump that. Let me go to page here and zoom out just a little bit so you can see the orange circle here is the Earth's orbit, and we're looking to intercept Earth right here. sorry, right here. So we're out here right now at Mars orbit, so we're going to swing in towards the sun like this and intersect Earth right there. Earth is currently right here in its orbit. So anyway, so that's what we are looking at. I believe, oh, I know I was forgetting, of course. So we need to put in our numbers. RCS fuel remaining is 418.9. So let's go to burn time. Okay, so RCS 418.9. Okay, so we have a total of 2,967 meters per second and delta velocity remaining. So let's put that in right here. So after the injection, 2,967. Okay. So I'm estimating 100 days, 160 days, 185 days will be our mid-course corrections. Doesn't have to be spot on the number, but that's just what I'm estimating. Once again, we can see that over here. Okay, so according to our flight log, it actually only took 2,497 meters per second for the injection burn, much less than we anticipated. So that was 2,497. So 2497. Okay, and our APU fuel remaining is 256.5. Go back to our spreadsheet. So 256.5. Okay, so actual delta V remaining after the injection burn is 2967 meters per second. Okay, everything's entered into our flight log. So all we need to do now is time accelerate until we're about 100 days into the flight. We can look at the mission elapsed timer here until that happens, and that's probably roughly when we're going to conduct our first mid-course correction. Let me open up orbit over here, and we can check out the G-field contribution for Mars will decrease as we coast away from Mars. So we can hop out and take a look around here. Let's put this on camera on global so it doesn't spin around with the vessel. Oh, and there's Olympus base right there where we just took off from. Very cool. All right, so see you later, Mars. We're heading back to Earth finally. Very cool. What a great view. So we're gonna go to 100 time acceleration. There is Phobos right there, and Deimos right there. I always wondered what are the odds of actually hitting one of those rocks when you do an injection burn to go back to Earth or something. Probably really small. I'm not positive, but anyway, there they go. No danger of hitting those. And here we go. So there's 1,000 time acceleration. Once we get out of Mars G-field contribution, I'll go ahead and kill rotation again. So we're at 1,000. Let me go ahead and kill rotate real quick. Okay, there's 10,000. And Mars is getting awfully small really quick now. And you can see Phobos and Deimos orbiting Mars off in the distance there. And there's 100,000 time acceleration. We're maxed out. Okay, you can't even see Phobos and Deimos anymore. We're definitely clear of Mars G-field contribution, so I'll kill rotation one more time. Confirm everything is shut down for our coasting mode. We can hit auto reference for the sun on the orbit MFD now. And so let's go back to max time acceleration. I believe there is the Earth and the Moon right there. Very cool. Okay, so let's just sit back and enjoy the ride for a bit. Okay, so we're at 100 days out now, so I'm going to go back to normal time acceleration. Let's hop over, actually let me put rotation RCS on. Let's hop over into this cockpit view and take a look. So our periapsis is still pretty good, actually. We're not too far from the surface of Earth. We do need a bit of a course correction, but nothing too major. Let's turn on orbit HUD. Okay. I'm going to use TransX for this. I just find TransX works pretty well. We could actually just maybe experiment with that, but we could probably just use Interplanetary here, the map program, and just sort of play around with our linear RCS and bring our periapsis down lower than that. Maybe we'll do that. Let's just give that a go and see what happens.
Translation.
So we'll try translating to the left. Nope. Forward. Backward. Up. To the right. So up. Seems to be changing it. The thing I don't like about this is I really don't know which way I need to be thrusting. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and use TransX. Even though it's not quite as accurate, it's accurate enough. So let's open up TransX on both sides. Okay, we're going to go to escape, forward, Earth. There it is. Go forward on this side, hit view. Actually, before I hit view, let me change graph projection to focus. Okay, and you can see actually right now, according to TransX, you know, we're going to be passing by the Earth, but quite a ways off. So let's go to maneuver mode. Let's turn on a maneuver, and we're just going to advance the date just a little bit so that we plan for this just a little bit into the future, not very far. Let's go to prograde and give that a go, see what that changes. So if I take some prograde out, that's not really doing much of anything. Okay. Looking at this, it looks like it might be actually plane change is what we need. Yeah. No, hold on a second. So plane helped a little bit, but let's go outward as well and see what that does. So outward plane, let's try a little bit more plane. Okay, and then I bet, okay, let's go to prograde this time. There we go, there's some prograde and outward. Alright, there we go. Now we're getting a nice close approach. Go to plane. And let's go to outward. Let's go back to prograde. There we go. Now we're hitting the surface. Inclination is, I forgot what inclination Edwards is at, but this is fine for now. We'll bring our closest approach. I thought I put graph projection is on focus. Okay, that's interesting. I guess that's because we're actually hitting the planet. So let's go like that. So there we go. Now our minimum altitude is 179 kilometers. So we'll go to view. The burn was 50 seconds ago, but that's okay. It's not going to make a huge difference right now. So we're going to rotate and bring that X over there in the center. We're looking at about 50 meters per second in burn and delta velocity. So before we do this burn though, actually I do need to put those numbers in to the spreadsheet. So let's go over here to burn time. So we'll get this centered here. So we have 417 in RCS remaining. So extra is 417. So get that put in. Let's go to our spreadsheet real quickly. So at 100 days, we have 3133 meters per second remaining. And so we'll enter that in after the mid-course correction. We're actually doing it, I think, at 101 days. APU fuel is the same. We're going to call it 256. Okay, and then that will fill that in after the burn. Okay, so let's go ahead and conduct the burn. Whoops. We'll use the control key, get that X right there in the center. That's probably more important than hitting your burn time precisely. You want to make sure that X gets right in the center so that the velocity you are putting in is going in the right direction. Okay. Sometimes it's a little finicky. We could turn on auto center, but I don't think I'm going to mess with that. Let's just do this burn. There we go, perfect. Burning. Okay.
Translation.
Clean that up with a little translation. That's good enough. Alright, so let's go to view, turn off the maneuver. Okay. And so we have RCS 415.8 remaining. I keep hitting that RCS button. Okay, 415.8. So that leaves us with 3082 remaining. Go back to our spreadsheet. So right here, after the burn, we have 3082 meters per second remaining. So it took 51 meters per second for that mid-course correction. So we'll put that in, 51. And we estimated, we gave ourselves 150 to do that. So we overestimated, so we have plenty left, and we've gained some delta velocity from the LOX gain. The vessel is lighter because we have the crew has consumed some LOX, so therefore we have gained some delta velocity from that as well. Okay, so our actual delta velocity remaining for this line once again was 3082. Okay, so I'm estimating, I guess, the second mid-course correction burn somewhere around 160 days. We might go a little bit past that and get closer to Earth. And we may not even need to do a third one. We'll just have to see how that goes. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do on this side. I'm going to open up TransX. We'll leave it on that view. And on this side, we're going to go to Interplanetary. All right, let's go back to this cockpit view. Let's turn off the HUD.
Rotation.
Turn off our RCS. And let's kill rotation and time warp. Full speed ahead. Alright, we'll enjoy the ride a little bit more here. So, if I go over here, you can see here's the Earth, and here we are, and we're looking to intercept Earth right here. So we're sort of coasting right next to the Earth at this point in time. So we'll zoom out a little bit. So there's 130 days. So we're going to take a look. Right now our periapsis on Interplanetary, which is more accurate, has us underneath the surface of the Earth. So it's looking like we may not even need just maybe one more course correction burn in order to keep from hitting the surface of Earth. We're getting some alarms just from the low oxygen. That's to be expected. We still have 42 days, 9 hours of LOX remaining. But our encounter date is 59191. And we're at 59155, so we have enough LOX to get there. So no worries. We even have a little bit in reserve. So let's time accelerate. I tell you what I'm going to do over here is now open Orbit MFD. And let's go ahead and reference the Earth so that we can monitor that G-field contribution. As we get closer to the Earth, you'll see this start to bump up from 0 to 0.01. That's a pretty good indication that we're getting very close to Earth, and that you want to be very careful with your time acceleration, or you will literally either hit the Earth, depending on what your periapsis is, or fly right by it so quick that you won't even see it. So, okay, so at this point in time, we're 150 days out, and our periapsis is well under the surface of the Earth. So I don't think I'm going to mess with doing a mid-course correction until we get a bit closer. And I think that's going to be the last one that we need to do. Okay, so let's time accelerate. We're back at max time acceleration. And we're just going to watch Interplanetary over there. You'll notice that now it shows us no longer hitting the Earth. And now we're under the surface of the Earth again. But as we get closer to the Earth, as we get closer to our interception point right here, zoom in, and let's center on us. So here we are, here's the Earth. As we get closer to our interception point with the Earth, this periapsis prediction is going to become much more accurate. And just as I say that, you'll notice that now we have a G-field contribution of 0.01. So we are getting very close to the Earth now. So I think this is probably a good time to go ahead and do that last course correction burn, because I believe our periapsis is going to stay, if I speed time up, yeah, it's not moving very much. So it's pretty accurate at this point in time. So for this time, let's just use... Let's go turn on our RCS. We are at normal time speed. And so we have a total of 415.8 in RCS remaining. So let's put that in, 415.8. We're at 176 days. So go to our spreadsheet. We're actually going to do the course correction burn at 176 days. The APU fuel remaining is 256. Okay, so our flight log was 176 days. So let's just change this right here to 176, and this one as well. Below it, 176. Okay, and so our delta V remaining at this point in time is 3218. And so we will input what is left after this course correction burn. I'm going to go to this cockpit view for that. We can turn on the HUD. Okay. I think I'll just use linear RCS for this. We'll see how it goes. So I'll just play around with it and see what brings that periapsis number here. We don't want to be under the surface anymore, obviously. We're going to bring our periapsis somewhere around 65 to 70 kilometers so that we have, so that we actually collide with the atmosphere to do an aero capture maneuver, but not collide with it at such a low altitude that we burn up. So basically that's what we're shooting for. And you'll notice that our angle here also for Edwards Air Force Base is probably a good time to go ahead and roughly get that set up. Ideally we should have this on 0 and our periapsis between 65 and 70 kilometers. We're going to see how close we can get that, but let's see. If I go this way, that's raising the angle, but it's lowering periapsis. If I go this way, it's raising the angle and lowering periapsis. Let's go this way. Okay, so I'm translating up, and that is lowering the angle and our periapsis. Or I should say raising our periapsis. That's working nicely. So our angle is at 0. Let's see if we can just get our periapsis up. It's going back and forth with actually translating back and up. So our angle is almost perfectly on 0 there. Okay, I think that's gonna be perfect right there. Look at that. Man, that just almost never works. Okay, 68 kilometers in altitude for our periapsis. Perfect. Angle 0. Perfect. Doesn't get much better than that. Alright, so let's RCS fuel remaining is 401. Okay, and let's go to our spreadsheet. So our delta V remaining is 3,201 meters per second. So it took 17 meters per second for that course correction burn. So put in 17 there, and we put in 3201 there. Okay, that is the last course correction burn we're going to have to do. So we're almost home. Exciting, guys. Okay, let's go back to orbit over here. And we'll switch to this cockpit view. We'll keep interplanetary open here so you can see us approaching the Earth. I'm going to go ahead and center on, I think it's P Earth. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so you can see We're centering on the periapsis at the Earth. So you can see our flight path coming in like this. Here is the Earth's sphere of gravitational influence right there. So you'll be able to see us approaching that if I keep that set up right there. Alright, so let's turn off the HUD. Let's turn off rotation RCS. Actually, let's go ahead.
Warning. Aux power unit failure.
Valve out! Losing fuel
Warning.
quickly!
Main fuel
Shut
low.
it down! We're gonna die!
Warning. Main fuel depleted.